Live streaming is on.
Hey, hello everybody. Welcome to the Dandelion governance meeting, where we discuss everything about distributed APIs. Today at the agenda of 27th of May, with here with Adriano and Ratio, and we're proceeding with making everything better step by step to improve what we got. Um, Yeah, I first had here something of displaying the wallet information on the Dandelion site, and I actually put I made a mainnet wallet for this fund, so for milestone two. I didn't in the end I didn't make it because I wanted to make a change to how it was done. So yeah. The current balance of this fund is 46,500 ADA still. So I sent the balance that we had now. I spent something helping Ratio, spent something helping Q. So that's what we spent. I think it's 3,500 we spent. Yeah, I didn't. Most of it is meant to also distribute as rewards for having green blocks. But I didn't do that until now because we have more problems than I expected it, and I wanted to have everybody have a fair start. And yeah, for some reason we still are not at a stage where I say it's fair for everybody to get. You know, I'd rather have Q and maybe my way of querying is not fair as well. So yeah, I want to make sure that is working because Adriano's response times on his server are way better, and for some reason, when my monitor queries something, it still doesn't work. So I don't know. Are you sure, Adriano, that like Vault Boy has mainnet problems at the moment?
I restarted that node yesterday after you let me know.
Because that time there was an issue.
Yes, but I restarted it, and usually I will check right now. But usually you have it's like a time window, like 2 weeks, approximately 2 weeks after Hasura starts like. Making that node to hang. But it's working. You can see on the approximate stats that it's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, I just went there and it works.
Yep. Um, no, it's that green button and that gray button that you press. No, it's not okay.
That's my I have a special function. That's Martin always green and then randomize the rest.
Now, for those who are watching, because this is getting live streamed and recorded. Now,
They make
it's
me
just the point of view from because Martin is running like a validator service, and that validator, that system that checks the uptime of each node, depends on his local network context, and from his point of view, some other nodes, like for example, our Argentinian nodes are not reachable all the time, or maybe are slow. So we make this joke about the green and gray button.
Yeah, it's good
But
that you
it's going
explain.
to get improved. It's just we are in the process. I mean, Martin, you said this, but I'm just quoting you almost. Yeah, we're in the process of improvement. So it's okay. Don't expect everything to work out of the box day zero when we are running a Catalyst, project to actually improve. That was the idea. So yeah.
Well, of course, in general, I mean, in running the services we run, indexers is a state of Cardano that needs a lot of improvement because a lot of teams are working on that. And new stuff like Rust nodes and Go nodes are coming, like several of them. This is not without reason because we have serious problems building applications when query services we have to get your data just are not living up to expectations.
I don't want to take too much time from your agenda, but I need to talk a lot about this some news that I have. Probably some resolutions. Now we're
Let me
closer.
just go through all the stuff. I mean, what do
Sure.
you think
Go on
about?
first.
I can for a long time I wanted to distribute one ADA to test if everybody's address is correct, like we do on Catalyst. I could do that, but I have not everybody here. I could do it on an individual basis, or I could do it right now in one game changer query.
Um, I don't know, but because it will take time and we have to check the addresses and whatever, maybe we can. You can run it
Let's
and then
say-
we can.
yeah, okay, yeah, I will do that tomorrow on an individual basis. I will run through those addresses
But
and
you
then
have the
contact
probably you have
everybody.
the feature. You have the feature added to the application, probably or not.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, I can show you. Like
that's cool.
this will, if I want to distribute, like if everybody's verified and producing the blocks, I mean, I can distribute with one click of a button. If I change these values, now you can see the code. It will build transactions for each and every one, and then I can sign them with the wallet I need. So it's great. So super easy with Game Changer.
Great, great.
Okay, we have that. Ratio is now up and running. Yeah, I made a script. It's not on the main repository yet, but it's a script to use Nginx as an external, controller, really, where you can hook up every Dandelion node you want. And the script generates it installs Nginx, and for the node you're currently running, it will add a site. So in Nginx, you can have multiple sites, and so if you run the script, it will generate, and you are in a production Docker Compose project. You can run the script, and it will generate the correct site for you in Nginx. So you will not need any, to make that function. And it will also use the certbot to get a certificate for you. And certbot will then install it will also install a cron tab to query regularly or where necessary, once a week, I don't know, for updating the certificate. So yeah, it's very easy to make everything up and running and secure. So, or we don't need really the security because their data is public already. But to work with browsers, it's nice to have a valid SSL certificate because it makes things run much more smoothly. So, yeah, I think it is a solution. But yeah, I'm also working on or intend to work on a Docker Compose or on a Docker container, which also does that work, which Adriano likes to have a lot. But yeah, it's the next step. Q is not here. He had something about having vacation or school time, so probably he's on vacation. I don't know yet, but I would love to have some time because Ratio is now up and running. That was the first one I wanted to tackle. We did that Saturday. Q is, there's something with his his SSD is broken or something. We need to replace it. But we have to investigate. Probably if we do an SSD check, it will show up failures. I don't know. Otherwise, it could be a memory issue, but that's strange because he's using, ECC memory. Well, could be that the ECC memory is actually checking and then saying, causing more issues, but valid issues in that it shouldn't be working. But
he's at his system is nearly identical to mine. As far as hardware components, the only major difference is the processor that he has, and I've got three NVMEs and he's got two. The NVMEs are identical.
But with NVMEs, they fail right away, or they will never. This is my. It's like that's my feeling with them.
I think that's the cause most likely. Maybe RAM also, but I think it's the drive, because the biggest issue he has is that suddenly some files stop being there, like especially the socket, the Unix socket for the node. That's terrible. If you don't have that, is the most centralized point of failure that you have on each node. It's terrible. So
it's we have to figure it out. But
has his network been tested, like to make sure throughput, no drop packets or anything like that? Because I asked him to access it, and to see how it was set up, and I don't know, he couldn't. At that time, he was incapable of locating the login and stuff. I don't know if you knew where it was, but
I know how it works. I have a similar router, and they're like it's every step backwards where you cannot do anything, because my router comes from Nokia, from my provider, and it's with an app. So I don't even used to have like a full router configuration like what you have. It was the Asus one, it looks like crap, but still. But in the app you have such a limited things you can do. You can forward. There's not even a firewall in there. There's almost no settings, and it's very restricted in what you can do. You can forward ports or make routes, but that's all dumbed down a lot. So
I had one from when I had T-Mobile service, and it was a great router, except like you said, like they had it locked down to where the user had no control over any details or settings within there.
Everything is going in the wrong direction, where it's like a nanny state of technology, where it's like don't keep your stuff there. This is my stuff, But anyway, we're not in Cardano for nothing, so probably everybody agrees with me with that. I bought a dual-core Xenon CPU, dual CPU, as suggested. I was a little hesitant. It's AliExpress, so but it works for Adriano, and it works better than the stuff we had, and it's very affordable. I mean, I spent 947 euros. I have a company, so I can deduct the taxes. So if you would, as a consumer, it would be 20% more expensive. So it's about 1,200 euros. But it's no competition. I mean, the Chinese are always, you guys are cheap, but
it's the integrity that I'm concerned with.
I agree with that.
So, unfortunately, I have 2 4-port NICs that I bought on eBay and did not check where the seller was at. I mean, I have some coming in today, but I ordered 2 more because I thought those would never get to me, or it was just a hassle with the local vendor. And then now July is when I get my other 2 4-port NICs, and they're coming from China by way of the slow boat. So it'll be interesting to see if they're authentic. and if they pull up as Intel chips and stuff of that nature. So that's my major concern, is especially when you're dealing with financials or even like point of sale systems or something like that you deal with, and
Yeah,
so, processing and payment processing, like that's my concern.
I share your concerns, but yeah, it was, I think, it's just the affordability is so good that you make
And performance also, that's the good thing. Maybe it also makes it. Martin, can you share the link of the if you bought like a kit or something? Especially, I want to compare the motherboard and the CPU. And please do yourself a huge favor. Try as soon as possible to ask for the manual from the vendor, like right now. Like, start sending DMs.
Why?
because you will need it, and they don't give it. They don't usually understand the language first. Then it's very hard to communicate and to convince them to share the thing. And just do
Why do I
yourself a
need the
favor.
manual? I have you. You
Just
have experience.
no. Ask for the manual, because I had to assemble all these notes without a manual. You don't have an idea how hard that was.
I have you.
Um, no, really, do it. Do it. Ask for the manual, and if you obtain one, it's gold. It's pure gold, even if it is on Chinese or on Russian or whatever. We can translate, but it was missing. I ran searches across the entire internet and was not able to find even a similar manual. So it's hard.
But you do have the manual. You don't.
No, I do not. I do not have a manual. No,
Oh.
no. I had to do magic to make those work.
Okay, well, I will do that. Thanks. My because I was researching the other system, which is like, wow, this is what I want. This is I like AMD and Gigabyte, so this is the same setup, but then with a dual CPU EPIC, and that's then the latest processor, and that will give you even more threads than what is now, and that will, it's from trusted European sellers, but that will cost you 4 times. So the total price is 3,800. But then you have, what's the latest, and the benefit is the power usage is a lot less because it's more
Yeah,
efficient.
that's really nice, because at the end of the day, it's what makes a difference. Yeah.
So yeah, if this fails, that's my backup option, and like this is like a similar board, like a dual CPU EPIC.
Nice.
So we have ones, but I like to, we're close with the number of nodes. I don't want to overspend on stuff we don't need. I would rather have everything work on desktop stuff if we can get by with going on this a milestone too. If we can get by on getting the green nodes, we need 6. Yeah, we have some. I maybe have to talk to Roberto about why this is not working. Maybe it is running with different services. Maybe he's running Blockfrost, but on one hand, I'm still just querying GraphQL because we need that for GameChanger. But yeah, if we're starting to drop that requirement, I will have to discuss also what are the requirements to pass this thing, because GraphQL is known by the community. So yeah, why should we be required to also keep running it? So
As far as I know, he's having issues with devising, or at least with devising, and I don't get exactly which network he was talking about. I don't remember if it was mainnet, but yeah, that's the situation, and he was busy. Like he was also waiting for us to do the changes and then to. So we need to sync with him.
Let's do that. Yeah.
Okay. Regarding
Uh,
the hardware, Martin, I am stuck. I cannot work on mainnet. On development branches I am working on, I cannot test them on mainnet because I don't have another to run a mainnet. So I am stuck. It's quite a terrible thing because I need to ensure, especially that things work on mainnet, where performance and also token registry and other things are different from preprod. So my old PC is not able
Can you
to.
ping? Can you run through any of the nodes that we have set up?
Do you mean running these branches on your nodes?
Yeah, I mean, you said you wanted to see.
Yeah, we can try, but the problem is that I need to, to be quick regarding running stuff, fixing it, running, fixing it. If
I see.
Adriano, let's
develop,
discuss this new hardware is coming this evening. I will get the housing, which is local, like this stuff. Like I have some coolers, housing, and power supply, and the SSD that's coming this evening. But this has been sent by AliExpress, but I'm not sure. Um, Sometimes it comes from local, but it could also be slower. So it could take 10 days. And then I can give you SSH access to it if you want.
oh, okay, that could help. Yes.
But yeah, I would also like to, add more green blocks. So if we have like 6 rows of green blocks, I will just have to discuss it. What is, the option? Anyway, let's.
Hey,
I
Harry.
made some more NFTs with, of course, with the help of AI. Hey, Gabriel, welcome.
How's it going, everyone? Hopefully my
So
audio is coming through.
yeah,
How are you?
good sound.
Those look pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I will have to make some more, add some text and stuff, but my tokens. I was out of tokens for ChatGPT, so and out of time. I need to make 6. So it says I can make one more tomorrow. So yeah, I'm I'm freeloading on this one. I don't have a ChatGPT account, and I
How
can
long
still
is it
get by without.
How long is it going to take you to finish the images? I don't know. It depends on how many API calls I need to make.
But it's sometimes annoying because I don't like this. The format is vertical, and I wanted landscape, and then you ask to change the format, and it will just generate a new one with the same format. So I don't know. This AI is still kind of stupid.
I'm kind of impressed with the quality of it there. Like, yeah, you could do some work, but the outputs there look pretty good.
Nice.
Still, you see that this is in order of how they're generated. You seem to be getting more gray and losing details. So
Yeah.
every time the AI gets less inspiring. And of course, the original image is still looking way nicer. It has more like the individual, making it character to it. And this is more smoothed out. I don't know. Something happens with AI where you're like, oh, that's AI. I don't know.
Martin, we are streaming and recording this. Remember, be careful what you say about AI today, because you don't want the, a Terminator to judge you
Your
in
package will be detoured
3
to
months
France.
in the future.
What's that knocking on the door? That's AI. Yeah, we'll see when we get there.
Okay, guys. Anything else, Martin? Can I share
I
some?
have this. Yeah, I'm almost there. Like
Okay.
for milestone, like in maintenance, we had some stuff. I added a script to add C snapshots.io, so you can download the snapshot from there and start your node from using that, so you don't have to sync from zero. That's great. I also bought a Synology for 850 euros. This is a stopgap. It already has the backups up there, and I can have web dev and with a login and password, which is it's not really a secret, but just to stop people from going crazy. They can use our repository to start downloading there. For what reason I wouldn't know, but I just don't want to make it open. So you can download all the backups, um, and I'm going to integrate that into Dandelion. So that way, you can also download the Postgres backup, and together with C snapshots, well, you could use the backup we have, but together with that, you basically just download, and then you will be up and running in, I don't know, 2 hours. Should be good. Um, Adriano explored Yahtzee last week, and wasn't successful. I heard. I was wondering, maybe later he can discuss this. He probably wants to. Um, yeah, containerized Nginx, talked about it. And I switched. My AWS didn't have IP version 6 enabled. My Office has only IPv6 connectivity. I talked to my provider. They said it was working for IPv4. It doesn't. They have some weird setup for this, but I mean, I switch now for IPv6. I have AWS, so I discovered I can just use now AWS, where I have IPv4 for next to also provide that IPv4. So I can now directly get into my Office with IPv6 and provide IPv4 via AWS, which is great. And I had a problem with IPv6 and didn't understand it before, but right now I kind of have the hang of it, and it's really nice. So everybody switched to IPv6, IPv4. It doesn't work anymore. So let's do
With the
it.
consideration you have here, though, right? Because in IPv6, every single device has an IP address, so you're individually accessing each device, right? So there
It's
are
a
some
huge
concerns,
it's a
but yeah,
huge mindset change. You need to do a lot less routing. It's fantastic,
yeah, no net.
basically. But what I do think is kind of scary, my provider could say, "Oh, let's turn on IPv6." I wouldn't know it, and then suddenly, ta-da! Every device is there on the internet. It's like, okay, maybe they should send you a letter, guys. Go around your devices and set up your firewalls, because if they discover your IP address, they can go directly to your microphone or whatever you have in your house. It's kind of, it's a different. Every device should be secure, but it's good to know that IPv6 is like it's opening the box. I don't know how. I'm not a network expert in that case, but net is like, you have the feeling that it's securing you, but I'm not sure in how far that is true, really. I mean, every device should set up to be secure anyway. So, okay, well, that's my thing. And now Adriana wants to say something.
Hey, quickly, Adriana, before you start breaking down Game Changer, as far as the storage goes for these backups and stuff, I imagine you want some sort of distributed services on storage backup eventually in the future. Does it matter? Like, does that particular system need to be like crazy? It's tech specs, hardware specs and stuff, or is it more for throughput and maybe using a NVMe as or some solid state drive as like a prefetch or something like that?
Um, Regarding the backups, you mean regarding but well, I think nothing will change. I mean, the ideal situation is where I would like that is that every node operator, when doing their own backups, they can automatically be sharing that if they want, maybe with a password, with a local Nginx. That was maybe the plan or the idea. Of course, what Martin is doing will perform better. Will be nice to have an extra service for hosting and uploading and then downloading these backups. But in theory, won't change anything. I mean, it's the same system, the same files generated. No more resources should be consumed. Because nothing actually will change. The idea is to reuse the same files that you generate for your own backups. Not where you're, I mean, I'm not sure if you're doing something different, but in theory, the 2 terabyte drives are enough for running the 2 nodes plus making backups for the 2 nodes. Currently, we are okay. We have, I think we will get up to the next year, to 2026. We will be still okay. So that answers the question, or I misunderstood something?
No, that kind of answers it. It was more about a specific, like if I were to build a separate machine, like could old hardware be used for that? Is there a hardware intensive type service for like I mean, beyond just our backups for our nodes, but maybe we decide to serve up something else later on down the road. That, and then also I don't like my backup for both the backup for both of my nodes is 419 gigs, and then I'm also sitting at about 1.1 gigs for the two containers, the two nodes running. That's about 1.1 gigs. So that's 1.5 gigs, and that drive is only 1.87 gigs, true gigs. Even though it's advertised as 2 terabytes. I mean, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's 1.87 terabytes instead of 2 true terabytes. So even if you use it for backup, I guess my point is you still only have like 300 to 400 gigs left on that drive. And if something goes crazy, some process goes crazy, and then you swell up another 500 gigs, then your drive is tapped, and then you're screwed. So I just wanted to bring that up. That's all.
Yeah, no, I think those are great points, right? Because like your backup system and your storage system is kind of optimized differently than something that's like your node, right? That's processing data and then providing it. So here, like in this case, Martin got that. He bought a NAS specifically for that. Now, this is where I would say RAID is absolutely paramount, right? For one, you can get, and I'm sure those Iron Wolves are platter drives, right, Martin? So not only are you getting platter drives, but high rated drives, and usually they're not going to come with anything more than if they fail, you'll get a replacement. That's usually what you pay for, is like a built-in manufacturer warranty. So you should always expect that your drives are going to fail at one point. So like whenever you say, oh, these are tough drives, they're going to last forever. No, they're not. That just means you have a warranty for that drive when it fails in that time.
I have
always expect, yeah, that these are going to fail. And what I would say is redundancy in the data, and then networking, right? You probably have 10 gig there, because if you're providing images for people to download, right? If you only have 1 gig for your entire network, well, then people are going to be downloading hundreds of gigabytes at a very slow rate. So those are like the kind of considerations. As far as processing, it's not very heavy, but it's a lot of, like you were saying, throughput. So I think if you're dedicating a system for that, instead of working for processing and everything, like you were mentioning, they have like a a fetch disk, right? So your storage is usually going into platter drives, but then you'll have kind of like a disk that's like for RAM. So commonly accessed files will go into that drive. So you don't have to buy 20 SSDs, right? You can just buy one SSD for that fetching, and then the rest of your storage on platters. And just always assume platters are going to fail at one point. So like the RAID has the fallback built into the system that way. So I think those would be the considerations. But yeah, it would more than likely be what Martin's doing here, a completely separate NAS device.
I have for my office, I have like for my work, I have also a Synology with 4 bays, and I think I have it 5 or 6 years. I lost 2 drives already, so it happens. Platters, they go bust.
Okay, guys.
Adriano,
I appreciate that. Sorry to interrupt, Adriano. I know you wanted to talk. So, and
No.
with that, I have
It's,
to go too. Sorry.
okay, try to hear this part of the stream later if you can, because I have some news that has to do with all. So for the future, okay. Well, guys, I spent last week in comms with Roberto Morano. We were discussing the possibility of first we were discussing the future, like where is the ecosystem going. So regarding APIs, regarding we can say standards are not standards exactly, but it's practical standards, right? Practices that everybody is adopting. Regarding APIs, the most popular among builders, among medium and small applications are, is BlockFrost. It's the thing that is most being used, documented maybe also, and regarding adoption, because these monolithic indexers that are appearing from TixPipe, from Jassy, backed by the CF, and maybe others, are trying to get closer to this BlockFrost API as a reference, as a standard, as a practical standard. To be honest, I like Koyos. The design of Koyos makes sense from a DevX, the developer experience point of view, because you can query in bulk, transactions, whatever you need. Makes sense. So coming from GraphQL, yes, we were pioneers back in 2021. So yes, we are talking about GraphQL. We have been using this API on the wallet. But coming from that experience where you're optimizing the amount of requests, Koyos made a lot of sense. The issues we were having with Koyos is that Koyos is using an alternate version of the schema of the setup of the database from DBSync. So Koyos requires DBSync to be configured in such a way that it's not compatible with GraphQL. And so basically, I spent the last week having calls. I met Satya, a great developer, the one behind Jassy. Jassy is an amazing project. Has a lot of future. Actually, is being used by serious players on the ecosystem, and they have this this API that is getting closer, or it's very close to BlockFrost. So I made a testing suite to compare the official BlockFrost API with Jassy. And in the end, there was a lot of differences. So it's not that it's not super terrible, but there were a lot of differences. Also, Jassy is focusing more on on-chain stuff, so it's not focusing on the off-chain data that we have with pools or with other, for example, the token registry. So if Jassy would perform much better, it's very logical how they are handling the database. You can use Postgres as database still. You don't rely on DBSync, just to share. I don't know if this was obvious or not, but the idea was to get rid of DBSync. Finally, connect just with the node. That would have been amazing. I was very tempted. I'm still tempted. With Jassy, performs well, makes a lot of sense, has a beautiful database design. The problem is that it's not very compatible at the end in practice with BlockFrost, at least right now. It is, but it does not have a majority of the endpoints, and every endpoint has some differences, which maybe are properties that are being added, right? So it's not terrible for compatibility, but still there are differences. And it's missing the off-chain stuff. And it requires more work. So I don't know, I've not closed the decision yet, but makes a lot of sense to not use Jassy maybe right now, but maybe in the future. So keep that in mind. Maybe in the future would make a lot of sense to use Jassy. And our nodes will perform better, will be faster, will consume less resources. But this is in the future. I'm sorry to say this. I think it's going to be in the future. Makes more sense to use BlockFrost directly right now. Last week I was saying Koyos. So why not Koyos? Koyos, I love Koyos, to be honest. I like the design of the API. The problem is that it has that requirement with DBSync that breaks everything, because GraphQL won't be compatible anymore. We have to destroy our database and start from scratch, from Genesis, populating it. So all these backups that we're talking are useless. We need to make an alternate version of these backups to make this work. This is very complicated to orchestrate, because we need to just destroy the nodes we have been building, syncing, and start from scratch, and it's a pain. And regarding adoption, I mean, TixPipe guys, Jassy, and I don't know, maybe more of these indexers that are coming, or alternate nodes, are trying to get closer to BlockFrost API. So that's it. I mean, I give up. I give up. Probably BlockFrost makes sense, and we're just fighting. Makes no sense. This is to be practical. When we accomplish stability with our systems, maybe we can say, okay, I can now add like an API provider to also support, for example, from the wallet, to also support Koyos. And maybe some of the DNOs, some of you guys can decide, okay, I want to run Koyos. The good news for Gabriel, that I know that you were trying to use Koyos, somebody told me, spy that I have. The good news, Gabriel, just in case you really, really need Koyos right now with Dando, is that the branch that I was working on passes all the 100 and something tests, and Koyos is working. It's working fine. I can help you setting up if you need. Koyos is working perfectly. But remember, if you run Koyos there, forget about GraphQL. And this is the big news, actually, the thing that I want to share today, which makes, the most important thing to share is that BlockFrost has the same debugging requirements than GraphQL. So we'll make our migration and our lives much easier than Koyos. This is a big thing. So if we pick the official BlockFrost API for Dando and we added that, if we add that and we use that on our nodes, we don't have to, we have to keep our backups and we don't have to change everything and break everything. The good news is that it's already done. I already added BlockFrost to Dandelion, so you guys have everything. Yeah, that's Martin. Add that to the notes. It's already done. It's almost passing all tests. Some tests are not passing, but because of sort issues or weird issues. Also, guys, please, if you can help with the tests, to improve the tests, that would be amazing. I don't have the time to make the tests shine, but the system is very nice, very handy. You have a similar testing suite for Koyos and for BlockFrost. In each case, because I'm running on this old PC, I cannot test on mainnet yet. Sorry. This test suite is not optimized or prepared fully for mainnet yet. Still, you have the files. You can try and improve my tests, my mainnet tests that are not actually tested yet.
So you do not know about that you do not know about performance yet, because to get payment address information on Koyos and on GraphQL, both. Gabriel has had issues on Koyos as well, and it's just too slow.
Yeah, that's something that we should discuss. Like, what's your setup?
Our biggest concern.
Okay, Gabriel, wait. Let me finish this and let's discuss this because it's important. But what's new, or what's happening? What's the future here? So BlockFrost is added. Last version of BlockFrost, we have support for almost all the basics. This is not tested yet. Not sure if this BlockFrost flavor for running your own node has IPFS added or not. If that's the case, it's amazing, but I have not run tests there. I added also the Submit API, so we have another API added also, not just BlockFrost. Submit API. I found the latest image. It was now maintained by Intersect, as far as I remember. So yeah, I was able to add it. That's thing, but also it's added to another that we added.
Adriano, does that mean that is that for submitting transactions, so you don't need what's Ogmios?
Exactly. We don't. I mean, Ogmios is needed because it's a dependency on some of these APIs. I don't remember which one. I think GraphQL and other. But what these guys do, Koyos and BlockFrost, is to make a proxy of the Submit API and Ogmios. When they need to do, for example, transaction evaluation, they use Ogmios. When they need to use the Submit API, okay, of course, they use the Submit API. When you want to submit, right, they use the Submit API. It's not actually nothing that has to do with Koyos or BlockFrost exactly. I mean, that needs proper testing, but it's there. It's there. Maybe it needs some polishing, but it's there. In theory, it's working. So what this means that in the future we can still try to use Jassy, and it's my biggest recommendation. Jassy makes a lot of sense. It's very tempting, but we need to solve the off-chain, APIs and some missing endpoints. But my suggestion is to keep in touch with Satya to make this happen. Let's try to collaborate if we can. Then, for the wallet, unless something changes, I hope I don't have more time to research. We will be sticking to BlockFrost API. So this makes much easier the migration, and even, for example, if GCFS is not fully migrated, we can still have 1-2 nodes running GraphQL, but most of the others ensuring that is, BlockFrost running, and we will be okay. We can try to migrate in that way. We don't need Koyos. In the future, we won't be needing Koyos exactly anymore with the wallet to make things easier, because Koyos is complicating things right now. It's a shame, but it's the reality. So yeah, but still, we are offering Koyos for somebody like Gabriel, for example. If you want to use Koyos, you have Koyos updated and working, at least on
Andrea, for Yassi, did you add it to Dandelion to make your tests?
No. What I did is I am making it. I made this test suite that is full. It's pure Bash, and it compares. Basically, it compares an official deployment of an API or another deployment, a reference deployment of an API against your local one, or against the one you want to run. So I made this BlockFrost testing suite for Dandelion, but I ran it first. I actually designed it for running it first with Jassy, and then adapt it for our own use on Dandelion. So basically, I'm comparing Jassy against BlockFrost, official BlockFrost API. Now I am comparing our Dandelion BlockFrost against the official BlockFrost API. That's how the testing suite works. The Koyos works the same. The testing suite made for Koyos works the same with the official Koyos API. That's it, Martin. And I added on this BlockFrost branch, I added the reports for Koyos and BlockFrost testing for you guys to have a reference. The nice thing about the testing suite is that also stores all the responses. So as a developer, you can just go there and check the endpoint you need to use, and you have examples there as JSON ready to use as reference. So it's nice also for development. You want to see, but basically I can share this is the node. What should I do? Share screen. Okay, wait a sec. I will try to share.
So you ran Yassi just from their own Docker Compose or something?
No, not exactly. Sorry, I forgot to say that. Satya is running like an example, deployment.
Oh, you use their own thing.
I ran against that. I'm going to test comparing with that. Let me share screen. It's not. It's obvious what I'm going to show, but just in case. Okay, this is the.
Blog post.
So now, what's new? We now have BlockFrost here, and we now have Cardano Submit API, right? Also working on stat on a proxy with health checks. So we have BlockFrost here. I don't know if you're watching. Sorry, BlockFrost and BlockFrost Ogmios, which actually, remember, is proxying Ogmios, and BlockFrost Submit API and Cardano Submit API. So these are the new actual services running. Actually, just Submit API and BlockFrost are the new stuff. Everything else is proxy. proxified. That's so, but it's, as you can see, it's working, and yeah, you can run. I mean, for example, I have this this query here for you to see that it's working. This is the typical, give me the balance of an average. And the nice thing is that it was not working with the COIOS devising requirements when I switched back to GraphQL, syncing again from Genesis. Yeah, it worked. So it's compatible, as far as I can tell, it's compatible with GraphQL. So this will make our lives easier. Maybe not regarding performance, and other stuff. It's not ideal, but it's what it is, guys. It's the best we can do. So, but let me see. Dandelion, where is it? This one. You're watching? Yes, you're watching. Okay, Gabriel. Well, I'm Martin. On this branch, on Blockfrost branch, we have to decide how to put this on main branch. But basically, on this branch, on Blockfrost, you have the latest COIOS a bit disabled for making Blockfrost work. You also have the tests results here with examples. I mean, with all the, here you have the test suites. And here, for example, this is weird. I thought I pushed a file and should be here, but it's not. Okay, let me see. Well, believe me, guys, I can share the report, but it's I was talking about the tests results.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Okay. Weird. Okay. This is the test report for COIOS, right? Free. But Blockfrost, I don't know why it's not here. I made a mistake. Okay. Gabriel, regarding COIOS, if you go to the COIOS branch, don't remember this one.
Yeah.
This branch, you have a working COIOS branch ready to run because everything is already configured here for COIOS to work. What will be broken is GraphQL. Okay, but for you, if you need it, you have it. You have it here. Indexes, everything is working. Tests are passing. Yeah, so you have that. And yeah, this branch is not having Blockfrost yet, but it makes no need for that.
But you would need to resync, and then we don't know yet if Gabriel will be able to run it as fast as he would like to.
Yeah. Going back to that topic. Good point, Martin. So Gabriel, when you run the initialized Postgres on your setup for running COIOS, did you have any issues, any warning, something weird?
It didn't give me any issues. It took about 30 minutes to complete, but there were no error messages. It was an empty object at the end of that. So it did take a while to create all those indexes on whatever tables, whatever that script did. And you were saying it shouldn't take that long. So that was one interesting thing about that, is it took about 30 to 40 minutes to complete, but there were no hangups there. So when I'm running my queries, a lot of what I'm doing for Arc Radio is just balance queries and asset lists, state. And I usually am trying to use the Dandelion node, the one I'm serving, as my primary endpoint, with the public COIOS endpoint and block frost as a fallback, right? But it's not local, but my node is taking about 32 seconds to do these UTXO joins, right? And on the public Koyos, it's taking at most 1.5 seconds. So there seems to be optimizations that Koyos has implemented that aren't present within the repo that we're using here. And honestly, I could care less which backend services I want if I can self-host them and they're performant. So ideally, I wouldn't want to support Blockfrost, but they are the most performant one. And at the end of the day, I want a functional app, right? So I'm going to use what makes the most sense. I kind of like you was liking Koyos as a primary. I do not like GraphQL. I cannot use the GraphQL queries for anything in my app. It just takes way too